Another update on the net zero ULEZ policy, the ultra low emission zones that the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, is obsessed with. Now, today we are joined by a special guest. We have the Assembly member, Emma Best. The woman that we actually reported on the channel yesterday, a couple of days ago, she was up against Sadiq Khan and his deputy on the issue of ULEZ, and she was called a climate denier because she opposes ULEZ and its expansion. We have Emma now on the line with us. Let's go to Emma Best and see what she has to say. So you've become recently a bit of a hero and champion on this channel. We showed your clash with Sadiq Khan's deputy over the issue of the ULEZ expansion, and it was good to see some people in the establishment actually standing up to idiocy and not actually doing proper research. So what happened there? Because obviously you guys have been opposing the ULEZ expansion in terms of scrutinizing it at least to make sure that it's actually the right solution or not. But it seems like Sadiq Khan and his team are just ignoring all voices and all criticisms. They're just going ahead and they're changing the consultations review results and everything else. What's going on in London?
Yeah, and you know what? That's it. That's bang on. Is that they're ignoring it and they won't engage with the discussion because they know that they're wrong and they've been found out and they won't. And actually, we've been called science deniers recently, but they're the ones that won't look at the science. The Jacobs integrated impact that TfL's own assessment of this policy says it will have a negligible effect on air quality, but that it's going to mostly target poorer and disabled Londoners. So their own assessment has said this, yet when you put that fact to them, you're far right, you're a climate denier. One of my favourite ones is you don't care if children are dying. So you get all this thing all thrown at you because they can't engage with the argument. And what you saw with Shirley was that I was quoting a piece of research by Imperial that said that ULEZ hadn't been very effective. Now, she has another piece of research from Imperial, one that TfL commissioned and she pushed, that says that it had been. However, it also did say that might be due to COVID and a whole range of other attributes as well.
Yeah.
But she didn't want to look at the piece of research that I suggested. Now, I would try and have a more rounded debate with her and say, let's look at everything. But, you know, apparently that means that I think the Earth is flat.
Literally. I mean, in this case, these days, if you post things like that, not only you're a denier, I'm guessing you're a German from 1930s. So everything is the same thing these days. But actually, I was going to ask you about London, because a lot of people are just getting frustrated and they just assume that London these days is basically a left-wing city. Everybody's a socialist and there's no hope for basic conservatism. And obviously, as a freedom fighter and conservative yourself, you're there working every day. Is there hope for London, or should we just make it independent and get rid of it?
I'd say as a proud Londoner, I'd hope that we have some hope here left. And you know, I think we're in an age, right, where a lot of people, a lot of the younger generation as well, that normally are in a metropolitan city like London, haven't seen what Labour in charge do, haven't seen what the left in charge do. And so I tell everyone, please open your eyes, have a look at the Mayor of London, because this is just a small sample of what you would get from a left-wing government. And it's one that not only you might not agree with the policies, but doesn't want to engage with you, doesn't want to discuss legitimate concerns, wants to shut down voices, wants to cancel out people. And you know, if you dare to speak up, then like I said earlier, you don't care if children die, and all these other, you know, really insulting things thrown out at you. But I think there is hope here, because people are seeing really how bad the mayor is. And you see, I was literally just speaking to people on the doors last weekend. And every door I knocked on, somebody told me, please get rid of the mayor. I voted Labour all my life, please get rid of the mayor. And it's a consensus is building now. His disapproval ratings are just through the roof at the moment. So I do think there's hope for London. And I think with people like you, thankfully, shining a light on City Hall and how that level of debate is just diminishing, I think that really helps people see, oh, okay, well, maybe the virtue signalers, and don't have the answer for everything. Maybe there isn't a promised land where everything's great, and perhaps the left would magically solve all of the world's issues.
Yeah.
So I do think there's hope in London, and I'm very much looking forward to the mayoral elections in 2024.
There are a lot of theories behind, why is Sadiq Khan so obsessed with it. And the biggest one is his mismanagement of the TfL, Transport for London, almost going back to the central government to beg for bailouts every 10 minutes. And people are saying that could be one of the main reasons behind it, to create a cash cow sort of a program to be able to control, but also make money for the things that he's actually missed and lost.
Yeah, absolutely. He is using it as a cash cow. There's a very good reason why, if you wanted to improve air quality and you want people to stop driving, you'd do things like improve the public transport network. But instead, he's raising fees on there as well. And it has been complete mismanagement. And we could go into that probably a separate issue as well, because that would be another tirade from me. But the ULEZ is a cash cow. It's purely a cash cow that is targeted on those at least are able to afford it as well, and that's why it's really upsetting as well.
Yeah, it's spot on. And your experience dealing with City Hall people and Sadiq Khan and his team, how has it been? Has it been challenging? Do you guys think that you guys make some progress at times? Obviously, he's got the majority and everybody behind him, but in terms of the establishments. But how has the experience been? Because a lot of people just assume that it's just basically hopeless.
So I think normally when you see politicians engaging in like the chamber, Prime Minister's question time, things like that, you actually, when you go outside of that chamber, there's a level of debate and respect between those politicians. Like, let me say, Sadiq Khan has absolutely no respect for any politician of any opposition party.
Wow.
I really even doubt that he has much respect for those within his own party. And you'll see that in London. You've got MPs standing up, Labour MPs standing up against ULEZ, Labour borough leaders standing up against ULEZ, and he treats them with the same disdain. So it's really, really difficult to deal in politics with someone like that, because there's even away from the chamber and away from those big events like Mayor's Question Time and People's Question Time, there's no way to have a reasonable debate. There's no way to discuss and just say, look, here's the legitimate concerns, and have a I get that, and here's my point. There's none of that. And I think that's a culture that he's instilled with his deputy mayors, and you saw that with Shirley Rodriguez as well. And I think that I wouldn't say that's indicative of the Labour Party within London entirely. There's good eggs out there, but certainly with Sadiq Khan, there's an ego there and an arrogance about the way in which he's instilling these policies. That's why he's ignored so many people in the consultation, discounted 5,000 responses. I mean, who does that? That you really have to have some gall about the way in which you're operating politically to not put a policy in your manifesto.
Yeah.
Put it to the consultation, have it roundly rejected, take 5,000 responses out of that consultation, and still pretend as though you are, the one that's the one in the right in this situation.
It is absolutely crazy. Yeah, we've been covering all that on the channel for you guys. And at the end of each interview, I get a question from one of the members of the channel. We've got Kevin from Kent is actually asking, obviously, and he's a supporter of you, and says that obviously you guys have been very good and being vocal. Peter Fortune as well in the City Hall. But it's asking about the state of the Conservative Party, especially when it comes to London as well. Is there hope for the Tory party to get Conservative again in the future at some point? And what about you guys, people like Emma West? Emma Best, you should stand for party leadership at some point. What do you think?
I think we should not have a change of party leader for a little bit now. But,
yeah, we don't want to get kicked out of the party by saying this. Don't worry.
No. I think there is, and actually, like I said, that's why I think that when we stick to our Conservative values, which always win in the country in terms of opinion, it's only the application of those values and our application of government or regional authorities that let us down, and we can be honest about that. But actually, our philosophy and our ethos is what wins the country. And so when we get back to that, and when we show people what a Conservative government can do for them, that is when we win. And I hope that we can do that. And I think in London, as I said, we are seeing what you would get on a small scale, we are seeing what you would get with a left-wing government.
Yeah.
And I hope that, and I think people are outside of natural conservative circles are beginning to look at this and think, oh, I'm not actually sure that's for me. You know, when you hit them with ULEZ, when you hit them with the mayor that is just not listening, when they look at the fact the Met's in special measures, the fire brigade's in special measures, TfL's got a black hole they can't fill. This is literally everything the mayor's in charge of. He can't handle, and so I think people are beginning to see that.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. And thank you so much, Emma Best, for coming on the show. And guys, you've been requesting to have her, but also Peter Fortune. He's going to come on the channel soon as well. Thank you so much for all the support. Subscribe to the channel. I'm Mahyar Tousi, and we are the media.